know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
And away we go.
Yes. Away we go into another offseason blueprint edition. We can actually get rid of this to start. We'll keep that mock draft simulator for later in the show here for the YouTube audience. That was a sneak peek at phase 3 of our offseason blueprint, which is going to be very exciting today. So we did one of these a couple weeks ago where we put ourselves in the Vikings front office, which would be a horrible mistake for them, the Wilves. Judd doesn't think so. Judd thinks he could be an NFL GM. I think Declan and I have a little more self-awareness than that.
With a salary cap guy, or gal. I'm not asking to do the cap. But beyond
that's a pretty big portion of your job, though, is to have, an intricate knowledge of the cap. You might want to brush up before you update your LinkedIn to send your resume off to these organizations.
I got news for you right now. The Wild GM, Bill Guerin, getting help from the league with the cap because their cap guy left, and he doesn't know the cap.
How's that going for the Wild, by the way?
I'm just saying, let's say Zolgad could do this with the cap person. I'm not doing math. I'm like Dex.
Judd just compared himself to a longtime NHL player, by the way.
We're about the same age. We're about the same age.
For all my Succession fans out there, I'd be a very much Roman of this situation. Do not put me in charge of anything. I'm going to make that rocket blow up and kill a bunch of people. That's I know a little bit of a spoiler, but no, don't put me in charge. I'm in no shape to run this organization. Please don't do that.
But we're going to try.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
we're all part of this.
You can be in the room when decisions are being made and just crack one-liner jokes like Roman.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through 3 phases, and we've already kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of this, and we'll just speed through some of the stuff that we covered 2 weeks ago and get to the real juicy stuff, which is signing free agents, in-house, external, and then a mock draft simulation. But all of this today is presented by our friends at Livia. Quick Trip as well, but Livia here helping you get off to a great start, losing some weight in 2024, Judd.
Yep, exactly right. Look, there's sports dad right there, down 40 pounds. How? Because Livia Weight Control Center has helped me. And here's the best part. They're going to help you drop the weight. They're going to help you keep that weight off. And right now, they got an offer on the table, 3 months for free. That's right. The first 3 months for free. That means you're going to be losing weight, fitting into clothes, feeling good with spring right around the corner. And it's 3 months for free. And also, they now are offering brand new medical weight loss options. This could be a life changer and a game changer because it helps to suppress many of the cravings that make weight loss so difficult. Livia, here to help you drop that weight. 3 months for free. 855-GO-LIVEA. Livia.com. LIVEA.com.
So here's the setup for this. The Vikings have 8 players who started large chunks of last season that are free agents. So you're going to have to account for their current cap situation, but also all these starting caliber players, at least for them, that are free agents. So like Kirk Cousins, Dalton Reisner, KJ Osborne, all free agents. Brandon Powell, Greg Joseph, Cam Akers, some of your backup offensive linemen like Austin Schlottman and David Quessenberry, who stepped in at tackle. So you got all these guys on offense. On defense, Danielle Hunter's a free agent, DJ Wanham, Jordan Hicks, Marcus Davenport, Jonathan Bullard played 600 snaps. You got Tonga and Troy Dye are both restricted free agents. So we'll account for all of these. On the cap space front, so the Vikings did sign some practice squad players to the offseason roster. So according to Over the Cap today, the Vikings have $24 million in effective cap space before doing anything. But that also doesn't account for the fact that like Kirk Cousins, his cap hit is $28 million, but he is not under contract for this year. Danielle Hunter, same thing. The Vikings actually have $50 million, which is about 20% of the projected cap, tied up in Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, and Marcus Davenport void year dead money.
Right, which is so this is the lesson of where the cap is not fake.
Like
you can do this. But it comes at it, but eventually you pay the cap piper.
Yep, and that's what actually Jason from Over the Cap, basically the front man for Over the Cap, was tweeting about this yesterday, saying, I mean, in the short term, anyone can clear space in the short term. But the more you clear space this year, short term, you're shoving stuff into future years, and eventually you're going to have your comeuppance. The Vikings they've spent a couple years kind of getting rid of some bad contracts like Thielen's contract and Dalvin Cook. But just to speed through this first exercise, which is clearing cap space, how can we go from $24 million to something more so we, as the Vikings front office on this episode, can get some more players in here. Here's what we did last time, and you tell me if you guys want to throw a wrench into this. So we extended Justin Jefferson, which created, and it's kind of a guessing game because we don't know what his exact numbers are going to be, but our educated guess was you would create $8 million in savings for this upcoming season, and then there'd be a bunch of money going forward. We cut Harrison Smith, or just expected him to retire, which saves another $11.5 million for this year. We cut Dean Lowry and Patrick Jones to save $3.5 million. We are keeping Harrison Phillips, Byron Murphy Jr., Garrett Bradbury, Nick Mullins, CJ Ham. Those guys are all options to be cut, but the savings wouldn't really be that much for any of them. So if we do those things, Jefferson extension, Harrison Smith, goodbye. Dean Lowry, Patrick Jones, goodbye. Keeping Harrison Phillips, Byron Murphy Jr., Bradbury, Mullins, CJ Ham. That would get us from $24 million in cap space to about $47 million in cap space. Does anyone want to throw a wrench into that?
No, and for the one, so there I think will be people watching this who are like, Nick Mullins, what are you doing? That to me is the financial placement of that position. Yeah. So like it might not be him, but you're gonna have to pay somebody that, right?
He's a backup quarterback for $3 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just that to me just holds that place, because this gives us the best chance to actually do a realistic payment plan on players, and you're going to have a backup quarterback.
Yeah. So on the Jefferson contract, we're going off the Nick Bosa highest paid non-quarterback contract from last year as structure. Maybe the Vikings can negotiate it down closer to like the Tyreek Hill highest paid wide receiver contract. There's about a $5 million a year gap there. So we'll have to see where that thing lands. So we've cleared some cap space. We have $47 million in cap space. For this episode, I think we should do it with a Kirk Cousins extension as the centerpiece. Mm-hmm. So we can kind of choose our different paths here. I think last time we said goodbye, then we drafted Jaden Daniels. This time, let's start the proceedings by engaging Kirk in a contract extension discussion. I can see Judd is already sick to his stomach thinking about this, but this is a real possibility for the Vikings and the ownership, right?
I'm actually fine. I'm being very patient here to see how it. Yeah, no, this very well could happen.
Okay,
you're right.
So PFF projects 2 years, $60 million, so $30 million a year for the next 2 years, plus prorated $28 million in previous accounting from the previous contract, with $37.5 million guaranteed. So it's basically the first year is fully guaranteed, and then part of the second year is guaranteed. I think it's going to be higher than that. What do you guys think?
Higher total years, total than the 60 million, or the. I
think 2 years is good framework. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be more than 60, and I think it's going to be more than 37.5, because I think the Falcons are going to be in. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 teams that are going to be driving the price up.
Until he hits the market, it's all going to be guaranteed. So like until I know that every team's like, nope, won't do that. I am willing to stay around 60. Like I think that's probably fair, but it's going to be guaranteed. But I mean, if you go up to 65, that's fine too. But yes, I think the ballpark. I think the unrealistic thing is to think he's going to take anything less than 2 years fully guaranteed.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think fully guaranteed, and I believe I'm interpreting this right from Judd. You're saying the contract is fully guaranteed both years?
Both years fully
because
guaranteed.
I do think I would fight that. I don't think that's going to be a fully guaranteed.
Well, what Judd is saying is if the Vikings get this deal done before the league year,
right,
it will be guaranteed, because otherwise, like, he would just say, no, I'd like to see what my market worth is. Yes. And if the entire market says, Kirk, it's kind of a 1 year thing, Kirk.
Okay.
The Falcons are offering 1 year guaranteed. The Vikings are offering 1 year guaranteed. Then he can let the market Lamar Jackson was kind of the same way, right? He was restricted, but the Ravens said, oh, you think you're worth that? Then go test the market. And he didn't get any offers.
I think what we're going to see is I think that Kirk is going to tax the Vikings because he's got them over a barrel with the 28 million that's going to kick in in full if he signs after the league year begins too. So I think he's going to say exactly, which is, okay, I'll sign in February, 2 years, let's say 62, fully guaranteed the entire thing.
And if the Vikings say, and right now, I think it's pretty obvious the Vikings are not offering 2 years guaranteed, right? Because if they were at any point the last couple of years, Kirk probably would have done it. Okay, it's a 3-year deal. 2 of the years are guaranteed, and we can keep going forward here. So here's what I would propose just for this exercise. 2 years, $70 million, and $40 million is guaranteed. So he'd be getting a large chunk of 2 years guaranteed here. You could still maybe get out from under it. It would be a pretty heavy cap penalty to swallow the next 2 years, regardless of, if you draft a quarterback. Does that sound fair? 2 years, 70. I wrote down 2 years, 70, $25 million signing bonus, which is what he did last time around. Yeah. You guarantee $40 million.
I think it's fine framework for now. Yeah.
So $35 million a year, which would make him a top 15. Okay. So if you do that, if it's 2 years, $70 million, $25 million signing bonus with a $40 million guarantee, it would essentially increase the Vikings cap hit by $3 million. It would go from 28.5 to 31.5. And then in 2025, the way that I have kind of structured this, you'd go from a $31.5 million cap hit to a $46.5 million cap hit in 2025 with still like $20 million in dead cap on the books for those void years that are still sitting out there. So you would just be like, to sum that up, you would just be shoving even more money into Kirk Cousins through the next 2 years or so. And you'd be in the same position that you've been in for the last 6 years, hoping that he can come back from an Achilles injury. But this is something that they might do.
Right. So I'll accept it. There would be a whole discussion about fighting this and trying to blah, blah, blah. But yes, for the sake of what we're trying to do, let's just say that this is the agreement that gets done before the league year begins. Okay. And so now you're in the best possible situation financially, because you sure as hell aren't going to take that dead cap hit and stick that on top of what he potentially might make.
Yep. Okay, Danielle Hunter. So we brought him back last time. Do you guys want to bring him back? We have about $44 million in cap space for this year.
Okay.
$44 million. The projected PFF contract is 3 years, $65 million. He also has a bunch of accounting money that, you're not going to be able to get that cap hit down too far. But the projected contract is 3 years, $65 million. So like $22 million a year, $40 million in guarantees.
Okay. Here's my question. Now, I think he's in a position to at least hit the market and test his value. And I don't think that there's a penalty there. So he could return here. In this conversation, personally, I'm almost going to say that I see this as the splash outside free agent signing. Oh. So like you've kept Kirk, but
and why would you keep Kirk and not bring back Danielle too, right?
But that's what I'm saying is, are we comfortable if this is your, like, if you were to internally consider this to be your, okay, we went out and landed a free agent, it just happens to be ours. Are we comfortable with that? Because I'm inclined to want to bring him back, coming off what we've seen.
Dex?
God, I don't mean to like run around this vicious circle, but it's just you're running it back. You're running everything back. You're doing the same bleep over and over again. And I know that's the fake of this exercise.
We're forcing ourselves to bring Kirk back for this exercise, right?
Yep. To be clear, I think bringing Kirk back is running it back, but the exercise is to have to do that. So like, I can't say, hey, Phil, buzz off. We're not doing it.
Yeah. So the Wilfs have mandated that we bring Kirk back.
Yep.
So I get what Declan is saying completely. I don't even disagree with Declan.
I know.
But if I'm going to bring Kirk back, Danielle is a huge part of what I do defensively.
Yeah, so they bring him back. They bring him back. Yep.
So if we do this contract and we'll put a $15 million signing bonus, which is kind of standard for some of the comparable edge rusher contracts, this would make Danielle one of the top 8 to 10 highest paid edge rushers in the NFL, which is what he wants.
Yep.
Age 29 season. You'd go from like a $15 million cap hit to like 17.5. So let's say we're tacking $3 million on to this year's cap. And then that cap number goes up like double in 2025, and 26 would be the third year of a 3-year deal with no guaranteed money. But so your cap's going up, but then it's going up like double for Danielle in a couple of years when he's 30 years old. So you have to figure that out. But we got Danielle back, we got Kirk back, and we still have $41 million because again, Danielle already had in our accounting here. Danielle already made up like a $14 million hit. We're only adding like $3 million. So we still have $41 million to play with here as we go into some of these other guys. I told you guys last time I'd like Brandon Powell back for $1.5 million. So if you guys are cool with that,
fine.
So we'll knock $1.5 million.
He contributed.
That gets us down to 39. We also have to account for a kicker at $2 million, Greg Joseph or whoever. And then at least a couple veteran backup offensive linemen. So let's bring it down now to 35 million with some of those depth pieces. All right. So I'll go through this list again like we did last time. You tell me for other internal offensive and defensive free agents. Really the only two that would make above kind of league minimum money are Dalton Reisner and KJ Osborne, maybe DJ Wanham or Jordan Hicks. You want to bring any of these guys back, or should we get right to the external free agents?
I'd bring back Reisner as mostly, just this rotational depth guy, or maybe he starts for your week one. But of those internal guys left, Reisner would be the one that I would bring back.
And PFF has $8 million a year on Reisner, so it'd be Reisner for $8 million a year because we're going off those parameters.
So before we potentially bring Reisner back, we have $35 million to work with. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
Boy.
But we don't have we don't currently have a starting left guard. We don't currently have a pass rushing defensive tackle. We don't really have a second edge rusher of note.
I think
we need linebacker depth.
I think we're gonna have to address the defensive tackle in the draft now. That's my opinion. But can we sign? So if we don't bring Reisner back, can we potentially consider the splash signing, since Hunter's coming back on defense, a guard? Like, would it make more sense to invest in Reisner, like Declan said, coming back as like a backup guard at right and left guard? Or does it make more sense to save that and try and pursue one of the guards that we talked about yesterday, for instance?
Well, let's carry this conversation over into the external. So I think, again, for this episode, because there's a million free agents out there, PFF has a top 150 list. Let's use the 5 free agents that we talked about on yesterday's Purple Daily, just to make this an easier exercise. So here's our external free agent options for this episode. Defensive tackle Justin Madubuike, who's one of the best interior pass rushing defensive linemen from the Ravens, be $23 million a year. He's 26 years old. Edge rusher Bryce Huff, also 26. He's more of a third down and edge rushing specialist at $13 million a year. There's the 2 guards we talked about. 2 of the best guards in the NFL are free agents. Kevin Dotson with the Rams and Robert Hunt with the Dolphins. That would be $17.5 million a year for either one of those guys. And then running back Tony Pollard is another one that we talked about at like $8 million a year to come in here and be a two-headed monster with Ty Chandler. So I'll throw those 5 options out there as potential. So I think we have room for at least one big splash free agent signing in addition here, because we're shoving money. We gave signing bonuses to Kirk and Danielle. We're shoving money into the future, man. Let's do this.
Pay the piper at some point, but we keep saying that and they don't do it. Okay, personally, I'm going to vote guard. Danielle's coming back, so I'm not going to overpay for a pass rushing partner. You do have to go get one, but I'm not going to pay. Those prices are huge. And if I'm paying Danielle top 10, I'm probably not going to pay somebody else top 10.
Okay.
The Vikings might look at defensive tackle there. Personally, in this room right now, my vote is guard.
I'm cool with guard. Let's spend the money on the guard. Let's do it. Yep.
So, and then we read this yesterday from PFF. Kevin Dotson was traded from the Steelers to the Rams last offseason, in part because Sean McVay pivoted from a wide zone rushing attack to a heavy gap scheme rushing game.
Football.
What that means is Sean McVay said, we need to overhaul our running game. And they did. And Kevin Dotson was a huge part of that. maybe Kevin O'Connell should look in that same mirror and say, we need to overhaul our running game. It has not worked for 2 years.
Yeah, you might
Maybe
want to call your
Dotson can be
buddy.
a part of that. Yeah.
Might want to call your friend McVay and say, hey, what did you do there again? Because we probably need to do the same thing.
So Dotson, it's a 4-year, $69 million contract for $17 million a year, $41 million in guarantees. He's 28 years old, but you're getting
I'm
the second highest graded guard in the NFL according to PFF. You plug him right in. Let's call it. We don't know what the full structure is going to be. Let's call it like $13 million cap hit for this year, because what they would probably do is they would backload it a little bit. So that brings us down to $22 million in cap space left.
And we do, by the way, just so I'm sure, like, right, because with your rookie class, that like accounts for like what, 8 to 10. So do we?
So we got to make some reality.
Are we accounting for that as well right now?
That's a good point. This is why Declan's in the front office.
Yep.
I didn't question Declan's. Yeah,
I'm not
that's
dumb.
what I said, Dex.
I'm smart.
You might not run the team, but you are a very important voice.
So let's call it like, we're going to need like, let's say $6 million, $6 to $7 million in cap space for the
7. Yep, I think 7.
So that brings us down to like $16 million.
Okay.
In effective cap space. How about Tony Pollard?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do we want to go there with this one, or do we trust that Ty Chandler can graduate to the top back? And so here's my question: was the Vikings' run game deficiency okay? And Madison, I think we all agree was disappointing. But just from a starting standpoint here, was the deficiency? How much was it in the backs? And how much was it in the lack of commitment, like with Chandler, who I think we all saw things from? Because the Pollard thing intrigues me. I'm just wondering, do we need to use that remaining money on defensive depth?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, this is where it gets kind of, so let's say we have $16 million to spend. There's guys out. Well, so I guess here's the question. Would you rather spend, let's say we haven't, because you're going to have some leftover money for just like the Dean Lowrys of the world, just in terms of that level depth. When you say depth, I'm thinking you mean an impact player, right?
Well, I mean a B-level free agent like cornerback.
Oh,
okay.
So like, but that can be that doesn't mean it's a bad player. But like, the first 2 days, for the most part, all of the A-level guys that we're discussing are gone, right? And then there's a second wave, and then there's a third wave. I'm talking a second wave like cornerback, because I don't know I'm drafting one high. I don't know I can afford to.
Well, one of the prominent mockers
I know,
disagreed
and he took one from a school I'm not going near again. So thank you very much.
By the way, too, on Purple Daily on draft, we went a whole meat potatoes defensive tackle draft strategy of how to replace that position since it's so thin. And that might be an area where they're going to have to take, Jaquelin Roy was someone they drafted last year. He might have to take a big step in 2024. So I think there's options. I think there's, to Judd's point, day 2 and 3 of the draft, there are dart throws they're probably going to throw, in my opinion, at the defensive line tackle position because they have to.
So, but we, in terms of free agency, you're suggesting, okay, we should. I think there's 3 options then. There's Tony Pollard for $8 million a year, running back, and he's reliable on third down. The Cowboys and everyone else learned he's not a 300 touch guy. He's a split carries guy, and you got Ty Chandler as sort of your traditional maybe first and second down guy, and then Tony Pollard mixing in also, but primarily third down. Bryce Huff is on this list of 5 that we brought up, external free agents. He'd be a pass rushing specialist to help on the other side of Danielle Hunter, just another guy that, especially on third downs, can get after opposing quarterbacks. That'd be like $13 million a year. So we would have room there, not a lot, but we'd have some room there. Or we go get, you're talking about getting like a starting cornerback, it sounds like. That's what you're saying.
I'm talking about a guy that can come in and at least compete for that, and those guys aren't necessarily cheap. But the Huff thing, hold on a second here. Hold the phone a second. The Huff thing intrigues me at the price you just said. Because I don't want to pay. I'm not going to pay. I can't afford to, I don't think, starting money to a pass rusher when I'm paying Hunter that. But the Huff thing is more of a third down guy, but he could complement this. That one intrigues me. The Pollard one, I love the idea on the surface, but I don't know if this problem can't be solved without actually paying that much, if that makes sense.
You could. There's plenty of running backs in the draft.
I like the Huff. I sort of like the Huff one. I sort of like
Huff.
this.
It's a 26-year-old edge rusher. He had 60 pressures in limited snaps, eight sacks, top 10 pass rush grade according to PFF. Not good in the run game, but you're paying him to do one thing, which is go hunt the opposing quarterback, right?
Flores might love him. I mean, we don't know, but I sort of like
he'd
that.
Find some room in his heart for Huff. Okay. So $13 million a year, let's call it a $9 million cap hit. And that brings us down to, we got like $7 million left for some
depth. Should we go get
depth.
a pack of gum? Yeah. Let's go to Tom Thumb. Or Quick Trip, better yet.
Quick Trip would be the better place there to go.
Quick Trip.
So that's kind of our free agency bin before we move into the draft here. So we brought back Kirk, we brought back Danielle. We gave them large signing bonuses so because you can prorate the signing bonus over the life of the contract. So you give them money up front and pay for it later. It's buy now and or I guess bring it home now and put them on a payment plan for later. And then we're signing Dotson and Huff to shore up guard and the other edge rusher spot going into the draft here. So before we go into this mock draft simulation, let's shout out our friends at Ballard's Resort. If you're looking for a great summer fishing getaway, Ballard's Resort is situated on the south shore of Lake of the Woods. This is right where the Rainy River flows into this massive lake, that Canadian border water air, those 10-pound walleye floating around. This is a wonderful property at Ballard's Resort. They even have U.S. Coast Guard licensed guides to help you on your fishing journey, full-service bar, restaurant as well. BallardsResort.com. They do fill up fast in the summertime right now. Like, people are booking right now. So get over there to BallardsResort.com. Also, the Minnesota Golf Show in a couple of weeks is set at the Minneapolis Convention Center, February 9th through the 11th. We're going to be there, Mackie and Judd and Purple Daily, for a couple hours on Saturday, February 10th. And if you want to hang out with us, you can get tickets, $5 tickets, by the way, with the promo code SCORE, S-K-O-R, at mngolfshow.com. That's $5 tickets to come hang out with us at the Minnesota Golf Show, Saturday, February 10th. Promo code SCORE at mngolfshow.com. Okay, gentlemen. Phase 3.
I want a mock!
We're going phase 3.
All right.
Judd, you're going to head the war room here. I will set this up, but you're going to be the point man in our war room. We'll pop this up on the screen for the YouTube audience, and this is the PFF Mock Draft Simulator, boys. What would you say, Judd, are the biggest needs right now, knowing what we just did in free agency, internally, externally?
Well, I think now with Kirk back, and to what Declan said, you are to a certain point, if not fully, trying to run things back and win now. I would say defensive tackle. That's my biggest need right now. And yet, yes, you can take them in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, but I want a guy that can come in and start on day one without a real question mark. And to me, that's a 1st-round draft pick.
I'm going to add, I still think young quarterback and young edge, because Danielle, I mean, we just signed Danielle, but if you can get your hands on a young edge.
And corner, too. But
linebacker and running back.
But defensive tackle is where I ultimately, with what we're doing, would focus.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's see here. So the Bears are on the clock.
All right.
I think we can just kind of let this play out. Let's let the first few picks come off the board. We can evaluate if we want to trade up or if we want to stand. We would trade back. Here we go. The Chicago Bears with the number 1 pick select Caleb Williams. The Commanders select Drake May. Ooh, the Patriots take the left tackle, local boy Joe Alt, before the Cardinals
very Belichickian of them.
Yeah, they go meat and potatoes.
Love the meat and potatoes.
And then
tackles.
they select the Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 4th pick. Yeah, interesting.
Yep.
Okay, well,
okay.
Jaden Daniels is falling, and the Chargers don't need him. Do we try to hop the Giants here? You still do need a quarterback of the future.
You do, and I love it. But in this world, are you really going to go now trade for a quarterback of the future when we just decided to bring Kirk back for 2 years?
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I hate to say it because I agree completely with your point, but this to me is why I find the dish that we serve to be non-palatable. I'm sending it back in the restaurant personally.
Because if you trade up for a quarterback 5th in the draft, you're starting him probably week 1, right?
Yes.
Like
yes, exactly right.
all right. I think
Sorry,
this could be a franchise mistake, but the Wilks
It
made
is.
us keep Kirk
Could
Cousins.
be.
Let's see how far he falls now. Okay, Brock Bowers, the tight end. There's Jaden Daniels to the New York Giants, moving off Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And then the next few picks here, we'll just pause this again. Cooper DeJean, the cornerback from Iowa, goes 7th to the Titans. And then Rome Odunze, the receiver from Washington, goes 8th to the Falcons. Bears, Jets are next before Vikings. Trade up, or are you guys good?
No,
We're
I'm
good.
staying.
good
I'm
here.
standing pat. I'm standing
put-
pat in this world.
All right. The Bears take Olu Fashanu, the tackle from Penn State.
Got
Scherzer
sniped.
Newton sniped right in front of us, dude.
Oh, we got sniped. Oh. All right, let's regroup.
It's brutal.
What's on the board?
Okay, let's take a peek here. So the edge rusher party has not started yet. We could start the edge rusher party with Dallas Turner, with Jared Verse, and that would give the Vikings Danielle Hunter. You would have Bryce Huff, pass rushing specialist, and then you would get one of these all-around great edge rushers from Alabama or Florida State.
This is
You'd
tempting.
have pass rushing fever up front.
Okay, so here's my sense, and I know Vikings fans are probably going to throw their phone or their remote against the TV as I say it. Can we trade back 4 spots? Because there's a ton of edge rushers here. You're not going to miss out on edge rushers. Is there a trade offer that we can take that we just move back a few spots? Not 20
Let's see.
spots. I'm talking like 4 or 5 spots.
Well, you said 4, so it's funny. Here are the teams that are interested in trading with us. The Colts, with the 15th pick, are interested in trading with us.
okay.
And then the Texans at 23, and then the rest of these are like 29 later. So
Okay, so what's the Colts offer?
let's see. For the Colts, we have to offer them. It just
I
says
got it. Okay.
they're interested. So we'd swap the 11 and the 15, and then they would
is like-
give us
They give
the
us
82.
a third. Yep, they give us a third. Yep.
Let's do it. You want to do it?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
Pull the trigger.
Trade accepted. Hey, we just made a trade, boys.
Yep.
We
And
just
then
made a
right
trade.
now,
I just got
the
fired.
draft party turned toxic.
Yep, I
It
just got
just turned toxic.
People are throwing
But
beer
they
at me at the
didn't
draft
trade back
party.
2 hours
coming
like
after
they did 2
Declan.
years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm blaming you, by the way.
Malik Neighbors to the Colts. Nate Wiggins, cornerback to the Broncos.
This
Wow,
played-
no edge
Ugh.
rush. This is great.
God, I'm-
Declan. Oh, Bo Nix.
Oh,
to the
Bo
Saints.
Nix. Nice.
So we
Okay.
just traded back, and all of the edge rushers are on the board.
Can I
We
ask a
either
question?
take Dallas Turner or Jared Verse.
Wait. Who is the best defensive tackle still left?
Here, I'll take a look.
Okay. I'm not saying to do this.
I
I'm
did-
just
my
curious.
genius idea just played out. Now you're throwing another curveball in it.
Yeah, what
No,
do you?
I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the table. Okay. I'm like
Okay,
Rick
so Byron Leonard
Reach.
Taylor
yeah, Reach.
is
okay.
like a late first. So
Nope.
this is probably more second round for us. These guys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Edge.
Edge.
Okay.
Dallas
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. Yeah, for sure. That's fine.
All right, we just took Dallas Turner.
God.
What value? What value?
Okay, let's.
And I'm
We're
taking
gonna
total
go
credit for this
speed up
tackle.
into the second round here. Hey,
taking
we just
all
drafted a
credit.
player. Nice job, boys.
Yeah. We just drafted a player and we're running things back. I feel really good about this. Also updating my resume.
Ooh, Byron Murphy. The second. The other Byron
Wow,
Murphy.
look at this, dude. We're back on the clock at 42,
I say you take that.
and Byron Murphy, the Texas interior defensive lineman, is on
Yep.
the board. If I
All
click
right.
this, can you guys see this?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
So
we can.
here's what he did last year on the left-hand column here. He played 430 defensive snaps for Texas. His pass rush grade was a 91.5. He had 6 sacks, 36 quarterback hurries last year, and a pretty good grade in the
What's his height and weight?
run-stopping game.
What's his height and weight? Give me
He's
height and weight.
6'1", 308.
Interesting build. Interesting
guy.
build. Okay.
I would take this. I would.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we'll
would too.
overcomplicate here.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. Can you pause right after you make the pick? Because I have an idea. After you
Yeah.
make the pick of Byron Murphy.
Yep. So we're gonna draft him here. Hold on, and then we're gonna pause. It's going
No.
fast.
That's okay. Here's the deal. Here's my question. Did J.J. McCarthy come off the board?
Let's take a peek. I like what you're thinking here. Let's just go through and see where the quarterbacks went. So Bo Nix went 14.
I don't see J.J. McCarthy.
Michael Penix went 34.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Where's Michael Penix?
And J.J. McCarthy is still on the board. Okay.
And the Jags are on the
Dex
clock.
is cooking right now, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. Dex is trying to wheeler
Okay.
dealer
So-
Dex.
Yeah, who needs... Let's see where we can jump here.
Well, neither of these next 3 teams need a quarterback.
Rams, maybe. I could see the Rams.
Yeah, Rams maybe. Yep.
Let's see if we can swing a trade with one of these next 3. So Jaguars, Bengals, or Eagles.
Try the Eagles.
To the
Because they're the
Eagles?
third.
I
Yeah,
like the
'cause-
deal. Yeah, I like that wheel and deal.
and they're at 50.
So we'd be swapping the 50. We'd have to give them the
them the
82
Yep.
and like
And-
the 130.
No.
Oh,
No.
no.
No. Give them offer a 2025 pick.
Oh.
Try the third,
Chudley.
Bill.
Yeah.
The
I'm
third
looking
round
at
here?
this. I'm looking at
No.
this.
No.
It'd be a second. It'd be a second next year. What if they kick something back to us?
Yeah, give me
Yeah,
something.
try
back.
that. Yeah.
Give us a
Try that 137 just to see.
137. What if it's the 97? Yeah, the 137.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'd be trading up 32 spots, swapping the 82 and the 50, giving them next year's second rounder, but we'd be getting back a 4th rounder this year. So we'd be essentially moving up 30 to draft JJ McCarthy, and then swapping a second for a 4th.
Yep.
In this year's, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I do
Offer
this.
trade. Trade accepted. Okay,
Okay.
we just made a trade.
Okay.
Now, if people are gonna like, if you hate JJ McCarthy, that's fine.
That's fine.
But this is we're going through the exercise. They need a quarterback lottery ticket, right? Resume draft. Watch us get sniped. Nope.
I swear to God, that.
Okay, quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy.
There it is.
Take them.
Still on the board. And we just drafted him.
Jump the rank a little bit, but that's okay.
Sending in my resume now.
There we go, boys. So now our
Well,
next
you
pick
should,
isn't
because
until
we're going to
108.
lose a lot. Kirk's going to get hurt again, Dex, and we're all going to be fired, so we won't be doing this anymore.
We're gonna go turbo here. Okay, so we're back on the clock at 108. We can kind of fly through this because obviously we don't know we're
Take
doing
the
this.
running back?
We need a running back. Bucky Irving from
Sure.
Oregon.
Oh, wait. I'd like to look at cornerbacks before we pull the trigger on a running back.
Okay, I mean Bucky Irving's flashy, man. 1,100 yards,
Yeah.
6
But
yards.
we don't
per
like to call
attempt,
him
caught
Bucky.
55
Remember that.
passes.
Remember that. We object to that name because when he played for the Golden Gophers, we were very upset that the guy would be called Bucky.
There's
I
not a
just
whole
wanna
lot in
see-
terms of cornerbacks around this
No.
point.
They're certainly not. Okay.
You guys
All right,
cool with Bucky Irving?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, got a running back in the mix. Boom, we just drafted another. Look, we're just fixing the Vikings left and right. Okay, back
Sure
on the
about that?
clock at 1:30. So
You
we got
sure
our
about that?
quarterback, we got our edge, we got our tackle, right? And we got our running back. We've drafted 4 players. I think I'm right on that. So we still need some defensive depth. Linebacker, cornerback.
Mhm.
Ooh, there's a Notre Dame linebacker right there.
Yeah.
JD Bertrand.
Yeah. I hope he's never been catfished.
Those dumbass Notre Dame linebackers. Okay, here's your cornerbacks, by the way. Max Melton from Rutgers is
Yeah.
in this range.
He's 9 below the rank that the Vikings are at. What was
We have another pick in 7 picks, by the way, and then another one in 18.
Okay, should we take a cornerback and linebacker with the next 2 picks?
Sure, let's do my Notre Dame guy here, getting catfished,
Yep.
and then we'll grab. We need a center at some point too. Drake Nugent is sitting here, Dex.
Oh, JJ
Like a center of
McCarthy,
the
center.
future. Oh, should we take
Center.
them both?
Oh, we're
Take-
keeping
take-
them together.
Dude, let's
Yes,
take them
Take
both.
the center.
Okay.
Garrett Bradbury's not going to make the team anyway. Yep. Take the center.
Oh, snap.
What-
Okay, and,
whoa,
now
what?
we can go on a cornerback run. Let's go
All
on a
right.
cornerback run here.
I mean-
at 148.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have Tyler or Thor or anyone to tell us. So we'll just draft this guy from Missouri, and then we're kind of just going best player available here.
Chip
Another
Scoggins
linebacker.
guy, Joe Milton, the QB.
Oh, the Tennessee
Chipper,
quarterback.
Chipper loves his quarterbacks from Tennessee. Those
You know,
balls.
we also
Okay.
could use some depth along the offensive line because we're losing guys.
Yes.
So let's go tackle here. You can never go wrong taking too much.
Well, you know what else? Potentially a tight end.
A tight end.
Hawkinson's hurt. I don't know if my guy Johnny the Munt is long for this team.
Okay. You want the this random
tight
dude
end.
from Kansas State
Yeah,
here?
he's got good. I'm sure he's got good size. Oh, look at those grades. Just showing progress.
48 catches for 669 yards last year. If you want actual draft analysis in these rounds, Purple Daily on draft with Tyler Fornes, Miles Gorham, and Declan Goff. All right, we're taking this Ben Signett guy as a tight end. So there we go, boys. We just did a 5-round mocker here. Let's see what our grade is.
How well did I do?
They're giving us a B- for that trade back, by the way. But the overall grade is an A. It's an A.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, boys. Yep. So we wind up with, we're bringing the band back together with Kirk Cousins, with Danielle Hunter. We signed the best left guard on the market in Dotson. We signed a pass rushing specialist in Huff. And then we went top edge rusher on the board at 15 after trading back, getting more draft capital. Byron Murphy from Texas, the interior defensive pass rusher and 300-pound body. And we got J.J. McCarthy and Bucky Irving. So I kind of like this.
I love this.
You guys.
I think this is a great idea. If the draft plays out like this, I'm very happy, I think.
Kind of in.
Yeah.
I hate this entire thing.
What?
I hate this entire idea, though. Like we're doing, but because we're being forced to do things because Kirk's coming back. And so now you didn't take the quarterback that you probably, or to Phil's point, my goal at the end of the day, that Chargers pick at 5, I'd love to go up and snipe a quarterback there. Like with how the draft went.
Just make it so hard when you lock in 2.5 years of dead cap.
You know what this is? This is going to a restaurant and your top 2 choices are out. And you still like the restaurant and you eat there, but it's like, I didn't get my top choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is like.
I feel
like we did the best we could with what we had.
Yeah. And JJ McCarthy as like a mid to late second rounder after you've drafted a couple stud defensive players. Yeah. Okay. You're hedging a little bit there on your quarterback, but
he's fine not
he's
starting
20 years
day one.
old.
Exactly.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
So, okay, there we go. There's that's the second crack at the Vikings offseason for us. That one also presented by our friends at Nutrisource, by the way. Nutrisource, the official dog and pet food of Purple Daily, of Score North, Maya Mackey. I'm surprised she hasn't actually come into the office here and asked for her her lunch yet. What's going on?
Stella certainly did. In fact, this morning, the last two days, if she got in trouble with her mom yesterday because she was barking at Pop so much that mom finally said, simmer down, get down here and let the man sleep. But you know what? Stella won't let me sleep because Nutrisource is too important.
Yeah, Vince's the same way. He's a very vocal dog. He's a lot like his father. He has to be the center of the attention. He's always asking for attention. He's always crying for attention, and nothing just kind of calms him down like a good little Nutrisource treat.
Nutrisource chicken and rice is the official lunch and dinner and breakfast of Maya, and the treats for all of our dogs for sure. NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer and location near you. All right, thanks for hanging out with us on this Vikings offseason blueprint edition of Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.